Good evening. I'm Karishma from the Tech Container team. Thanks a lot for joining us today. So, to give you a little bit of context about Tech Container, we've been using this platform to share knowledge on upcoming trends, and we've been hosting sessions on various emerging technologies every month, with this being our 15th meetup. So, now moving on to the session plan for the day. To explain about DevOps principles, I take immense pleasure in introducing the speaker, Hari. So our speaker Hari is currently with Verizon as a technical lead for the strategy and planning organization. He's responsible for measuring DevOps key performance metrics for all Verizon applications and has been in the software field for close to 7 years now. So now I let our speaker take over.
Yeah, thanks, Karishma. Thanks for the quick intro. Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Hari Chandrasekaran from Verizon India. So I've been in this DevOps domain for the last 3 years, and today we'll be seeing about the CALMS framework, the DevOps principles, as well as the measurement, uh, why, how, and what we can achieve in this. So I'll share my screen and we will start. Yep. To begin with, I'll say uh, a golden circle, purposeful positioning, which was stated by Simon Sinek. We already know, some of us know about it. Like for anything, there should be a purpose. Why we are doing it. The next step is the process, like how we are going to do the steps involved in it, and the last one is the what part, like which tells about the outcome. So even whatever we want to do, uh, either in the business or in the life, there should be a purpose, that is why, and there should be a process involved in it, that is how, and the outcome is what. So that's the same thing we are going to implement in DevOps principle as well. Yeah. So moving on to the next. So COMS is the acronym made from the framework that allows business or organization to assess their journey of DevOps. And also it involves getting to know more about continuous improvement, what I can able to do in the DevOps journey. So the COMS basically comprises of culture, automation, lean, measurement, and sharing. Culture plays an important role in DevOps principle. So no more like I am dev team, I am ops team, or no more like it is working in my environment. It is not working in another environment. So it is all one and the same team. The dev and ops should work together to complete a common goal, which is the customer need or the customer satisfaction. So the culture plays a major role in the DevOps. The next comes the automation. Automation is the key for DevOps. It is not like we once we enable all the tools for automation, we cannot achieve the automation at all. So to achieve automation, we need to identify what are all the manual interventions we are doing, starting from the code commits till it is reaching to the production. So whatever we can able to automate, that we need to shift left. Like shift left is the key for automation. Like whatever need to be done or automated, it should be shifted left. And similarly, whatever the manual steps involved in it, like we cannot deny like some of the manual steps which need to be shifted towards the right, towards the end of the product. So that is on the automation side. The third comes the lean. The lean is latest towards this COMS framework. So the lean basically is for achieving the results faster and frequent pushes to the customers, like adding frequent value to the customers. So basically, a work or a process can be completed into multiple chunks, and each chunk the team can complete it faster and move to the market and get the customer feedback, and we can very well in a fast manner we can act towards it. So the lean is basically on splitting our process and achieving more frequently, more sooner to the market. The fourth one is the measurement. Measurement is vital in the DevOps region. So most of the organizations are started to measure their DevOps maturity. So we'll be seeing more in detail about like what we need to measure and what all can be measured. And the basic thing is like everything we need to measure. So how we are going to do it. So we'll be seeing it in the later slides. And the last one is sharing. Sharing is also interconnected to culture. So why I'm saying is like, so the mindset should be changed between the teams. So the teams should break down the silos created in their environment, and they need to collaborate with each other. The sharing involves like if a major outage happens or a major incident happens, like what are all the results we are getting out of it, like what are all the solutions we achieved out of it, like if a critical scenario comes in at that time, what is the best thing I have done. So those things need to be shared across the team, and similarly the mistakes we have done. So in order to make other teams like these are the mistakes we have done, so that you cannot do it in the near future. And similarly, not only on the outages, the another side, if we take the best practices, maybe some team might be good in automating of few of the manual steps they are doing daily. So those best practices can be shared within the organization, so that everything will be in a smooth way and breaking the silos. So that is on the sharing. So as a result, COMS are the DevOps principle that enable us to break down the silos, enable faster value or frequent value to the user, and the continuous feedback can be achieved out of it. Yeah. Moving on to the our circle, purposeful positioning. Now comes the why part, like the purpose. So why I have to measure it? So we need to know the purpose, right? So let me take one of the metaphor. So this is like a highway. So where uh, we are in one of the car, like I'm moving from my office to reach home. What is my goal in it? Like my output only be in like reaching the home. Nothing will be in my mind. Like, so only thing I'll be noticing is like, okay, this is the way and I need to reach the home. So the next metaphor I need to take on the F1 formula is, in this case, what is our part? Like it will be like how we can reach the first place. So we'll be speeding and we'll be accelerating and we'll be thinking like if someone takes over us, what we need to do, and so many aspects. It is bound to it. So there is for anything there are two things. One is outcome, another one is output. The output is reaching the first place here, but the outcome is like many things to be measured to reach the final goal. So it is while in the first metaphor, if we notice the highway, like where I'm going to directly reach the home, there is nothing to be worried about. So there the speed and measuring the acceleration or anything is not needed, whereas in the F1, like definitely it will be needed, right? I need to check like everything is in proper condition, like whether if a curve comes, what I need to do. So many measurements need to be done in order to achieve the first place. So that is the purpose of a measurement, like why we need a measurement. So in order to achieve the outcomes, we need the measurement. So this is one of the report published by DORA, DevOps Assessment and Research. It is under Google now. So they will be publishing every year the state of DevOps report. Might be some of you already aware of it. So they published the report on 2018 as well as on 2019. So if we notice on 2018, there are 48% of high performers in it, and similarly 37% of medium performance and 15% of low performance. Yeah, before going on to the numbers, I'll first say how they categorize the performers. So based on the organization, four factors like the change failure rate, how frequently they are deploying the code, and how frequently they are coming out of the outage, like the mean time to recover, and how faster they are in committing the code and getting it to production. So in these four angles, they categorized all the organization into four buckets. One is low, medium, high, and elite. So in 2018, if we notice, there is not a major group on elite. So those were also part of the high performers group. For example, nearly 55% of there in elite high performer group. Out of that, 7% were trying to move to the elite performer group. Whereas if we see the 2019 status, it is clearly shown like 20% of the team, 20% of the overall organizations moved towards the elite performer group. So how they achieved this, it is basically implementing the COMS framework. So how they achieved it, so that will be our next thing. So what are the various things part of the elite performer is like they did 208 times more frequent code deployments and 106 times faster, like faster lead time, like committing the code and getting it to the production deploy. And 2604 times faster time to recover, like the mean time to recover is very faster compared to all the organizations. And whatever the change failure introduced, like whenever there is a fail, out of 7 releases, there is one failure, it is also a lesser loss accounted to. So based on the throughput and stability, these elite performers were grouped. So next comes the how part, like how they achieved it, how we can do it, and for that, what we need to do. So how is like the measurement is a key over here. So we need to start measure and then it will reflect, like it is kind of a mirror. So whatever we do, it will automatically show us so that we'll get to know like, okay, these are the throttling points available in my system so that I can fix those. So that I can able to achieve with the help of the measurement. So the how part comes, so one of the tool basically we are using in Verizon is Hygieia to measure our DevOps maturity. Hygieia is an open source tool and it is a DevOps dashboard which provides us a visibility of entire delivery software pipeline, starting from code commits till it reaching to the production. So it also shows the DevOps maturity and how many enhancements we are working on, what is in progress, what are the code commits happen, how many builds happen, which were resulted in failures. So the entire information of a product development is depicted in a single view. So this product is an open source product created by Capital One, and there is a consortium available, and we are proud contributors of Hygieia, Verizon. Some of the contributors are American Airlines, Adobe, Walmart are some of the contributors of Hygieia. Okay, so Hygieia comes with three variants. One is like the team focus. Team focus is like the micro service or component wise focus. Another one is the product focus. Product focus is basically an application focus. And the third will be the executive, like enterprise version. So first we will complete the team focus. Team focus will give you the more insight of like what is the current sprint it is running. So in that sprint, how many tasks are in progress, how many is still in backlog or to do state, and how many are in completed state. So that we can able to depict from the team focus, and will it will also provide the detailed information of like how many builds happened in the last 14 days and last 7 days and present date, like what is the latest build and what is the failure and what are all the reasons for the failure. So that will be available over here, and it also provides alert mechanism, like if there is frequent 2-3 failures, it will alert to the team so the team can work on the build issue and fix it. And it also provides the quality of the code information, like from SonarQube, how many violations are available, the code violations, basically the major critical violations and technical depth of my source code, along with how much percentage of code I am actually covering upon. So that level of information it is giving. And another widget I would say, like the code commits, it will say like how many commits I'm doing on a particular day. Similarly, the comparison or 14 and 7 and 14 days, taking into the account of like every sprint will be of 2 weeks. So they have designed in that way. So that can be altered. And the another thing is the deploy, like how many deployments happened and in which environment the deploy is happening and why it is failing over there, the reasons uh, for the failures, those we can get as a single view. So this is like a for a microservice or a component, the team focus. The next board is about the asset focus. It is kind of a product focus. So maybe, for example, in an application, there might be 3 to 4 microservices. One of the component might be UI. One of the component might be an application backend. So multiple components may be comprises in an application. So the entire view can be achieved with this asset focus. So it will give the detailed information of like how many commits are happening and whether it is resulting in a build or not. And after build, what is happening? So that level of information asset focus will give. So I believe the asset focus is more important in achieving the transparency and getting the feedback from the system. So we will go in detail about like how the asset focus helps us. Yeah, so the asset focus really gives us like the time delay in each stages. For example, once a ticket is created, once a feature is created, I'll be assigned with, and I'll be starting working on it. And once I complete the code, I'll be giving the pull request. So the pull request will reach the approver. The approver checks for the structure, code structure, and the logics and whatever need to be checked, and he will be approving it. In some cases, it will be automated one. It will do the scans or it will do the runs, and it will be auto merged to the master branch or the develop branch or the default branch. So once it is merged, it will be resulting in a build. So from the first stage, it shows the commit and how many commits are happening. And once the commits are merged, it should result in a build, right? Obviously. So the next stage is build. From build, it should reach to the nearest environment, the dev environment. So it will be reaching dev. After that, it will be integration, QA, or prod-like environment, and after all, it will be reaching to the production environment. This view will give more information about each commit. So whatever commit I do, it is residing in which stage. For example, if I do the commit now, it will be available in the commit stage. Once that commit is translated into a build package, it will be moving to the build stage. So once it is moved from the same commit is deployed in dev environment, it will show the commit will be displayed on the dev environment. This will give you a clear indication of like for any commit, how much time it takes to reach the production. Actually, it provides the overall information of the lead time. So whenever we do a commit, we'll get to know clearly like this commit is standing in the build stage, this commit is standing in the dev stage, and this commit is standing in the QA stage. So we can clearly able to get to know. And from this, we can also able to get the delay time. Okay, to cross commit to build, it took 2 hours. So what is my throttle point over there? To do the build and deploying it in the first environment, it takes 2 hours. Then is there something I need to tune up in the build script so that the build time will be reduced? Next scenario, I'll say like, for example, if integration testing from integration environment to QA environment, it is taking nearly 3 hours. So in that case, we can check like why in integration stage it is taking more time. Is there some manual interventions happening over there? So if yes, yeah, that is the throttle point. We need to fix it and we need to reduce the time over there. So this view will give more insight about the delays or whatever the manual steps involved, which resulting in more time taken. So that will be getting from this view. Along with this view also provides the various trends like how my build failure rate goes, and similarly how is my code coverage, it is whether it is in an increasing state or decreasing state, similarly the violations happening. So that level of information it gives in a single view. Yeah, moving on to the next slide. So the third one, which I said, is the executive dashboard. It is basically for the senior presidents and the VPs of our organization to get to know more about the DevOps maturity scores. So since DevOps plays a major role in business now, so they need to understand like various key performance indicators involved in DevOps, how their applications or how their organization is actually evolving in it. This view is like having different cards. Each card will show value, the DevOps key performance indicator. For example, if we take few things, open source violations, the violations in our open source codes, and security violations is violations available in our source code, and the production incidents, how many outages happening, and the average pipeline lead time, like how much time it takes for a single commit to reach production. So those are the various insights this view will provide them. And I'll take one of the example of open source violation and provide a little detail about it. Like each card will show the value along with what is the key performance indicator and the breakdowns. If we take open source violations, how many blockers available, how many criticals available, it will show, as well as it will show the details of like how many applications are having this and how many modules is comprising of this metric. So that level of indication it will show. So one major or a very good thing in this view is like the trend indicator. If we notice the seventh one, it shows a red arrow with the increasing sign. So which is basically of like number of open source violations over the 90-day period. It is keep on increasing. For example, in the April month, I had only 20 violations. The May month, it has been increased to 30, and in June, it is 45. So the number of violations keeps on increasing. So that gives the trend like we are going increasing in the negative way. So that gives a red color indication and with the up arrow. So fortunately, what we need to do is like we need to reduce the number of violations, which will indicate with the green and a downward trend. So basically, Hygieia Enterprise version will show the comparison of the application itself over the 90-day period, like how I am performing in the last 90-day period. So that is a healthy competition like we can make within ourselves. Yeah, and it also provides a summary view for applications as well as products. So this is basically to identify some of the common patterns utilized by application teams so that other application teams get the understanding of how the particular application is going in a right direction. For example, if we take if the lead average time for one of the application is very less, like they are deploying very frequently, 2 days or 3 days, within one day they are deploying multiple things. So in that case, the other application teams can get to them and get the best practices involved in their system, and they get to know from them. So sharing is enabled and collaboration is also enabled with the help of this product and component view. Yeah, so to give just a understanding of architecture so that it will be easier for you, like if you want to implement in the near future. So basically, Hygieia follows one of the two of the methods. Like one is collector, another one is a publisher. The collector is nothing but it will collect from the source systems. So in DevOps, we'll be using multiple tools, right? For example, for requirements or and ticket trackings, we'll be using Agile Central or Jira or Rally. And similarly for build, some teams will use Jenkins, some team will use Travis, or some teams will do Go CD. And similarly, the source code management also, some teams will go ahead with SVN, some teams with GitLab or GitHub. So we'll be using different tool sets. So that is based on our need. So we cannot restrain to uh, a single group of tools. So we need to use multiple tools. So that is one thing. So Hygieia provides the option for it, like whatever tool you use it. So only thing is like those tools should expose API. to consume the data. So that can be achieved with the help of the collector. And the second one is the publisher. Publisher is kind of a push model. For example, Jenkins will push the data to Hygieia. Like whenever a build is happened, it will triggers the data to Hygieia so that Hygieia will store that information. So the basic thing is like either you use collector or publisher or any script or any process, just we need to attain the information like whatever we can able to gather and store it in the database. That is on the data layer. And on the API layer, whatever the data we consumed, the API will compute as for the team board or the asset focus or the executive wise. So it will compute and show the information on the UI. So it involves uh, basically the two components, the backend and the API, the collector, everything in Spring Boot, and the UI layer is Angular. Okay. And these are some of the collectors. It is presently supported in Hygieia to start with. As I said, for features like the requirements and ticket tracking, Jira version 1 and Rally are used. And similarly for testing, it supports Karate testing, Cucumber testing, and Selenium testing. And similarly on the monitoring, it supports CloudWatch, and repo management, it supports Artifactory. So these are the some of the tools which is already having a collector so that we can easily get that and implement for our systems. Okay. And this is the information readily available to everyone. Like if you want to use the source code of Hygieia, it is open sourced. You can directly go and use it. Whereas the 1.0 and 2.0, like the team focus and the product focus, is more for the application. So application teams can utilize it. And the 3.0 is enterprise version. And organization, the 20 or 30 applications put together use the executive board for each organization. And we have some guidelines for it, like if we want to contribute something. For example, whatever the tools mentioned in the previous slide, if you are not using it, like if we are using an additional tool or a new tool, like in those cases, you can write a collector and you can be part of the consortium and you can contribute as well. And some of the documentations available, like how to install it and what are the steps needed and what is basic uh, requisites which we need to do. So those will be part of the documentation, and it is an active community, and nearly 14 releases so far we had. So that's all about Hygieia. The next comes the what part. So far we discussed, if we go to the first one, the golden circle, the purposeful positioning. First we got the understanding of like why we need to measure, and the next thing is like we get to know like how we can measure with the help of one of the tool Hygieia. And the third part is the what part, like what is the outcome, like what I need to do with the help of the metrics. So that is on the what part. So before moving on to the what part, like I would say the DevOps is not like only involved with the tools. Like DevOps is more of like implementing the practices or principles of DevOps. It is not like once we have all the tools, we cannot say we are 100% DevOps. So we need to implement the best practices and the DevOps principles. So yeah, so most of us know the Phoenix project by Jenicum. He has created a principles of DevOps in a three-way. So the first way is like make workflow. And the second way is like amplify the feedback loop, like close the loop and amplify the feedbacks. Third one is like a continuous experimentation and learning. So what we can achieve from it. So this is a three ways defined as part of Phoenix project. So this is more helpful in achieving uh, our goal in the DevOps journey. So it is like measure and mature and act. So that can be achieved with the help of these three ways. We will go in detail like what are all the three ways how we can achieve it. So the first way is like create a delivery system. So make the things flow freely from one end to the another end, from left to right. So basically, if we take one example, so there is a tap connected to a pipe. So I'm freely opening the tap, like fully opened the tap, and the water is flowing in the pipe. And but at the end of the pipe, I'm really getting only fewer amount of water. Then I need to understand like what is blocking inside the pipe, right? Like what is the throttling point inside the pipe, right? So to understand it, like first I need to get an view of like what is actually available. So that is what we are doing with the help of the measurement. Like from commit stage till the production deployment stage, what are all the various stages involved in it? Like how much time I'm taking in each of the stages? Like what is my throttling point? Whether some automation needed for it? Like actually nothing is happening and it is delayed because of any manual interventions. Those things we need to identify and remove those throttle points. So that is what actually applying a theory of constraints to solve the throttling points. And we need to make the things flow from left to right. So basically what we discussed on the automation side, like shifting left, whatever we can be able to automate it, like either unit testing or functional testing. So whatever we can able to automate in the system, it should be shifted left. And whatever some things cannot be automated, so those manual interventions should be shifted entirely towards the right of the pipeline. And the second way is like amplify the feedback loops. So it is basically like measuring everything and getting the visibility of the delivery flow. So which we achieved with the help of the first way. And now we getting into the feedback loop. Okay, so this commit to build stage takes more time. So that feedback will be continuously getting, and that needs to be addressed first, so that it will be freely moving from commit to build and from build to the nearest environment. So it is like moving the things freely and getting to know the feedbacks of it. And the third way is learn and continuously experimenting the things, learning and continuously experimenting learning. So that has happened with the help of the third way. So I want to quote an example of a few of the things which we done in our system. So one is like decreasing the number of work in progress. So once we reduce the number of work in progress, definitely the velocity of the team will increase, and the SADU will also increase. SADU ratio is nothing but in a sprint, if I'm committing 10 user stories and I'm completing only 6 of it, so my SADU ratio for a sprint is 60%. In order to increase it, we need to limit the work in progress. So it is like the whatever the leading indicator is work in progress, whereas it actually impacts the lagging indicator of velocity and SADU ratio. Maybe I'll put in one of the best example. It is also a part of that the Phoenix project. The thing is like cleaning our clothes. Okay, so in that case, if we have clubbed together the 7 days of clothes, and I'm washing it on eighth day, and what I need to do after washing, I need to dry it in the hanger. So that will be my pipeline stage. So I'll be putting everything together over there, and that will stay for some time. And after it is dried, I need to take the cloths and put it in the cupboard. So it is like the development stage is like washing the clothes and putting everything for drying out. It is in the delivery cycle, and after drying I need to collect everything and put it into the like whatever use, like I'll be keeping that in the cupboard. So there are 3 steps involved in it. If I'm taking time to do it, like if I'm taking more time to do it, like 7 days or 8 days, the time it takes to dry, and if I want to do the next step like ninth day itself, I cannot able to do, because some of the clothes will be still there for drying. So if I'm doing the same way in 2 to 3 days, I'm doing the same way, I'll be able to make it faster. So it is basically applied with the lean principle, like limit the number of work in progress so that we can achieve more out of it. So that's the three ways basically involved in the DevOps principles. Yeah. So the key takeaways from this COMS framework is like measurement is basically a key foundation for DevOps journey. Like everything we need to measure. So wherever we find a throttle point to identify that throttle point, we definitely need to have the measurement. So unless until we cannot find the actual throttle points in our system. And the next one is the purposeful positioning, the measurement strategy. So that is vital. And the third thing is like adopt open source tooling, which will reduce the licensing cost, as well as like it will create the internal community, like collaboration and communication will be achieved with the external world as well, not only with internal, external as well. And internal community maybe within our organization also, like inner sourcing we can encourage. So those are the cultural aspects. And whatever we define now, the three ways like what we can do, like how we can get the clear picture and the feedback and continuous learning. And uh, at last, like DevOps is evolutionary and bootstrap, and it will be ready for continuous improvement journey with the right measurement strategy. So the measurement strategy will definitely differ for each organizations. Like the work in progress cannot be the same for each and every team. So it is based on the uh, team's previous uh, the results which were measured from the boards. So it is not the same for every team. So every team will have a different thing. So we need to identify which is best for my team and what is the best measurement strategy for my team. Yep. Mm, that's all from my end. So yeah, we'll open it for question and answers.
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can post it in the chat box as well.
Hari, this is Bhavesh. Uh, Approximately how much time did it take for you to get the whole thing done? And is there anything specific you had to take into consideration while creating the data lake?
Okay. So basically, it will take 3 weeks of time to complete for one application. So if we try to utilize Hygieia, because which is already having the collectors which will take care of your data pipelines, and the view as well. So it will take 3 weeks of time. Or else, if you don't want the view, and you can also utilize the collectors which is already available, like from the Jira source system. What all information I need to collect, I can utilize only that part from Hygieia and can utilize it. So it will take 3 weeks of time to completely get the full pipeline with the help of Hygieia.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
What is the price of enterprise version? Is there any pricing for that?
No, it is all open source. Like you can directly go and now and take the code and you can utilize it. And similarly, if you want to contribute or if you think like some of the uh, measures you want to take or you want to utilize in your organization, you can always contribute back.
Okay, if no one seems to have any questions, so thanks a lot for the session, Hari, and for everyone who joined us today. I really hope you enjoyed it as well. This session will be uploaded on our YouTube channel probably by tomorrow. So we can wrap it up now. Thanks a lot for joining.
Yeah, sure. If you have any questions, yeah, please post it to Karishma. Maybe I'll get from her. Thank you.
Yeah, you can do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Hari. Thank you, Karishma.
Thank you.
Yep.